Hello. This presentation is going to direct you and guide you through the process of writing goals, objectives, and performance indicators specific to your development of writing lesson plans. So this quote I thought was appropriate. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. We're going to think through what it is you want to teach, how do you know what students learned, and how do you put all of that together. So why do we write goals, objectives, and develop lesson plans? The purpose of this activity is to provide you with the necessary information needed to develop learning goals, objectives, and to write detailed lesson plans. Basic terms and definitions. Goals, they are broad statements which include overall intent with no indicators to measure success. Again, they are the broad statement, the big picture. Objectives, statement of the desired outcome in measurable terms. We're going to write learning objectives, and as you develop them, understand how to craft them in a way that after you finish reading the objective, we know what we want them to learn and how we're going to know that they learned the information. The performance indicators describe the specific activities that provide information about progress toward the objective. Examples of goals. You can click on the yellow link which will actually take you to these examples that I have provided. You can read each one of them. Specifically, I will read number 2. One of the goals for Healthy People 2020 is to achieve health equity, eliminate disparities, and improve the health of all groups. Objectives. What are they and what can they do for us? They make evaluation efforts possible. Without objectives, it's impossible to measure the achievement of change in knowledge, attitudes, or behavior. Learners in any setting do better when it is clear what it is to be learned. Objectives must be more specific than goals. They must be measurable and clearly indicate what will be different after implementation of the education program, whether it's the lesson plan specifically or the overall unit. What is it that we want them to know and do based on the learning opportunities that we give them? Objectives, examples. Again, clicking on this yellow link, the Healthy People 2020 takes you specifically to these examples that I have copy and pasted into this presentation. So one of the examples, I'll read number 2, is to increase the proportion of adults who self-report good or better mental health. So how do we write good learning objectives? We're going to look at the A, B, C, D, and E formula. First, we talk about the audience. Who are the learners? B, what is the behavior? C, the condition. D, the degree. And E, the evidence. How are we going to know that they learned what we wanted them to learn? So the behavior. When you write these, you want to use an action verb. Stay away if possible from the student will be able to. This suggests that the learner has the ability but is not expected to perform. This is a switch. Most teachers are still saying that the student will be able to. I'm asking you to say the student will. So the student will list, match, identify, volunteer, or demonstrate. The condition. What is the circumstances that enable the behavior to be performed? What does the audience need, or how have they been able to perform the behavior? Example, following the presentation. The presentation is the condition. The textbook, the discussion. So this is where or the circumstance that the learning will take place. The degree. What is the criteria that must be met to constitute success? List 7 with 80% accuracy. Volunteer once a month. So this lets you know specifically what it is that they are being asked to do. So for the first bullet, list 7 common of something. So 7 is the degree. And so with 80% accuracy, there's no guesswork here. We want to specifically let the learner know what it is that they need to do. Evidence. the source of proof that the objective was met. So for this one, record them on the worksheet. So they're going to put their answers on the worksheet or demonstrate to the instructor. Here's an example that I just took an image out of a textbook that puts everything into perspective. So if we look at number 2 together, it says parents, the audience, will report is the behavior, according to the guidelines presented in the workshop. So the condition is the workshop. Improved self-efficacy in communication. So the degree is the improved, and evidence in the post-workshop evaluation. So the evaluation is where they will show us the improved self-efficacy from the workshop. And here are just some suggestive verbs that you might want to use as you start to develop your learning objectives. So for practice for this activity, you have already been assigned to your Module 1 groups. Individually, I'm asking you to write one goal, one objective, and one performance indicator. After, you'll post your goal, your objective, and your performance indicator onto your group's discussion board in Canvas. I want you to respond to each group member's post, and when you do that, I want you to identify the audience, the behavior, the condition, the degree, and the evidence. Let your group members know that you see the content and the information that's there. Give them some feedback. Let them know if it's clear, if it's unclear. This is our chance and your opportunity to really craft this skill of writing objectives. There are still some instructors and teachers that really struggle with this process, and this has been one thing that I've found through going through several textbooks, that breaking it into this, and I've even had my students tell me that this has been one of the best things for them, is to really have to break it apart, write the objective, look for that A, B, C, D, and E, and then if it's missing, go back and fill that in. So don't feel bad if you get feedback from your group members that say the information is not there. Look at this as a way to improve your process and your understanding of how to write these goals and specifically the objectives. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing your new goals that you and your objectives that you are crafting.